Up, grown folks? How y'all doing on a wonderful breezy afternoon? I'm here just touching bases with some afternoon thoughts. Wanted to say hey and let you guys know that today is all good. Again, like I said, it's a mindset. We have got to put our mindset in focus in a positive way to make things be greater today, tomorrow, and forever. Okay? So I just wanted to stop on by and talk about, I wanted to talk about intimacy. Intimacy. When I say that word, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What do you think when intimacy is brought up by someone else? When you think of it, um, when it's presented in a way that makes you go, yeah, what is intimacy? And usually, for some, the first thought that comes to mind is sex. That's the first thing that comes to mind because we connect both as one. When you think of intimacy or being intimate with someone, you always think of that. However, it's interesting because that's one part of intimacy, just one little sliver of the pie. But intimacy is also in other forms as well, which is emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, experimental intimacy, and also spiritual intimacy. So, what you want to do in your relationships, in your marriage, in your one-on-one exclusive relationships, you want to focus on all areas of intimacy, not only in the bedroom. Now you heard some that will say, I've heard the comment a lot, intimacy just don't start in the bedroom. It's something that starts outside of the bedroom. But some will say that, but they're not really knowledgeable as to what exactly does that mean. Where else do we see these intimate encounters or things happening? And we'll start with emotional intimacy. You want to connect with your mate on an emotional level. You know, um, Being able to talk about things that are deep rooted, deep seated, things that matter to you. Perhaps you haven't felt comfortable talking to anyone else about these things, and you want to talk on an emotional level. I mean, intimate emotional level with your mate, with sharing, and you want them to be open to sharing too. So you have to have a certain amount of trust. You have to have that type of connection to feel safe in doing so and comfortable with the person that you love. So emotionally, you may have heard some say, "Oh, I became emotionally connected with that person on a heartfelt level." We talked and talked about everything. I shared all my deepest secrets and desires and fears with them and told them about some stuff that happened 30 years ago that I've never shared with anyone else. And it was just comfortability in doing so. It was just awesome. They didn't judge me. And we were able to empathize with one another. You know, Perhaps having a horrible past or a horrible day, or being able to come and emotionally connect with your mate without being judged. A wonderful thing. You have to keep that type of connection in the fray of um, emotional intimacy. It has got to be something that you both work on, and you work on building in a way to make you both feel comfortable. And then we have the emotional intimacy, where emotionally you want to be able to also connect. You want to be able to feel as though it's a safe place to, emotionally connect with that person, to share. Sharing is caring, to exchange, to be able to talk about your dreams, ambitions, things that you want in life, places that you want to go, people you want to see, who you want to be, those type of things, and feel safe too, as well, in doing so. So you have got to work on building upon that emotional connection with that partner and feel comfortable yet again doing so. You have also the intellectual intimacy, being able to connect on an intellectual level, to be able to have stimulating conversation, to talk about things, to plan upon doing things that is interesting in life, that's stimulating. That sparks interest. Some are in relationships where you have one mate that's a talker, and the other one is not. And the other mate is creative with ideas and things that they may want to do and change and, you know, pace and all that. And the other person is just humbly quiet. You know, you're not connecting in that way where you can both intellectually grow as a couple in regards to stimulating things of the mind. And that stems greatly on, you know, communication, doing things together where you both can grow and, you know, just going to an art museum or anything like that that will help you connect on an intellectual level. Then you have the experimental intimacy, ha ha ha. And you want to train together sometime, experiment with different things. We're working on um, building better bodies, living a healthier life. You may come together with creating a meal together. I'll do this part and you do the dessert part, and you come together with your creative building. Um, so, and then when you're into planning trips and things of that nature, you know, don't always be one to always take the reign and do that. Go ahead on and plan together. You know what I'm saying? One may plan the vacation of where we're going to go and where we're going to stay, and the other may plan some of the excursions or things we're going to do 2 or 3 days that we're there. Work together, experimental. Also, another one deeper is that spiritual intimacy. um, you want to come together spiritually and savor the moment on a spiritual level, a connection that feels like you're both connected on that level. Perhaps you worship together, perhaps you pray together, perhaps you get together and go to services together, in regards to your spiritual intimacy and your connection with one another. And you it's just to connect on a level. If you're walking through the park and you're holding hands and you connect with the birds and the chirping and the water and things of that nature, you are spiritually connecting. To definitely be able to pray together as a couple, you are definitely spiritually connecting. So you have to build upon these different intimacy levels outside of the bedroom. It didn't even, I mentioned in the beginning the sex part. That is only one form. And I think that we, as couples, during our journeys together, we forget about the spiritual connection. We forget about the experimental intimacy. We forget about the intellectual intimacy. We forget about the emotional intimacy. The only thing that one will equate intimacy with oftentimes is the physical. And I'm telling you, you need all those building blocks to build upon something uniquely dynamic in your relationship. If you only focus on intimacy and your mind is to think only of the bedroom, when a partner speak on, I need you to be more intimate with me. I need intimacy with you. They're not always necessarily meaning I need you to just come home and hammer the mess out of me. Or I need to come home and you just jump my bones. I mean, they're not always just speaking in terms of that. That may be one aspect of it, but once that's over, once that's done, you have what? You have nothing. So you need all of those building blocks: emotional, intellectual, experimental, spiritual, and bedroom intimacy. You need them all. You need them all. And if you are living in a situation or dealing with one where one or more of those are missing, your whole unit or relationship or marriage or whatever it is not solid. It cannot be solid because at some point you're going to need them all. And what you do is, a lot of times we sit back and we try to figure out, so I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. They not wanting for nothing in the bedroom. They're not wanting for nothing materialistically. What's missing? Why do I feel this disconnect? Because your four corners of intimacy is not solid. It's not holding your foundation solidly. So therefore, there's a wiggle, there's weakness, there's a jiggle. And when something comes along that's a lot heavier than your foundation can hold, what happens? It crumbles. But if you work on building these other forms of intimacy around the bedroom, then you both winning. And it can't just be one. Like I mentioned in some of these, you have got to work together and do your part as a couple, with one doing something, the other doing that, and you coming together and complement the whole. You cannot build an empire alone, and here you are, got somebody walking right there, supposedly side by side with you. You have got to work together. So intimacy, when you think of it moving forward, think outside the box. Think about more than just the bedroom. Think about more than the next gift you can buy. Not to say those things are not appreciated. It's always appreciated to have nice gifts. It's always appreciated to have some nice clap, clap, clap on a regular going on. But that is not your four corners of intimacy. That's important to build upon. So I had to really get that off my chest. I hope that has helped someone today. It was a thought that came in the moment of the afternoon, which I definitely had to share. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what your thoughts are on intimacy. And let me know what you're doing to try to build more of that moving forward. Now, if we think, in terms of maybe some relationships or marriages that you had in the past and it didn't work out, and some of those things was truly missing, as far as your connection, then you can relate to how you separated in terms of growing apart, because you will grow apart. And sometimes, like when you with somebody or you in a situation and you trying to figure out, well, what is it? Why? Why aren't we connected like we used to be? And why don't we do these things that we used to be and do and all this? You have grown apart. You have grown apart because you haven't built upon the building blocks and dynamics that's needed to hold you a sturdy, steady um, foundation. And that, like I say, it takes, boy, them trucks come mighty close to you, don't they? My goodness. So it takes more than one. It takes both of you if you're both rowing that boat together. For real. Mm-hmm. And another thing I want to talk about today, grown folks. We all have friends, and sometimes you have friends of the opposite sex that you are solid with. And you get involved with someone and they are not feeling that. They're not feeling your friendship with the opposite sex. They're like, no, why you gotta go there? No, but they was my friend before you, and we cool and we tight. But you know, why you still friends with them? Maybe you guys slept together, or you want to sleep together, or you and a person you with becomes very insecure about the fact that you're still friends with this opposite sex. Now, mind you, it does not have to be someone that you've slept with. It could just be a real good friend of yours from the opposite sex era. And when you have issues in your relationship, you go to this person to talk about it because they're your go to, they're your best friend. They are non-judgmental. They know your history. They know your character. So you feel comfortable in trusting them to talk about what's going on in your relationship now. Now, I'd like to know what you guys think about that. Sometimes that's really not a good thing. And, like some will say, good friendships of the opposite sex, you got to really know that this person does not have a hidden agenda or an attraction for you, or hopes that perhaps one day you'll be free again and they can have an opportunity to make their move with you. You got to be very sure that that's not the case, because they could be giving you some biased opinions to put you in a mindset to leave this other person because they want you. So you got to be very careful of that. But is it a good rule, or is it cool to have that friend of the opposite sex and then turn around and talk to them about all the, not only the good but the bad things that's going on with who you are with? And then the person you're with find out that you got this emotional type of connection with your opposite sex best friend, and you telling them all y'all little issues. Is that really cool? And is it controlling for your relationship that you're in now to come at you and request that you no longer have friends of the opposite sex that now that you guys are together? Especially friends that, because some say that they can be real good friends with exes that it didn't work out relationship wise, but they're the best of friends now. that they're not in a relationship, and they're going to be friends for life. And some don't really think that's a good practice because it leaves room open for what if. What if we tried again? What if you were single? What if I try to do the things that I didn't do before and you give me the opportunity and chance to do it again? What if, what if, what if, what if? It leaves room for these what ifs. So you're trying to be friends with an ex that you have slept with some years ago and you're now in a relationship with someone new. Should they understand that true friends, real friends, that develop sometimes from relationships, should they understand that it is what it is? This has been my friend before you, gonna be my friend during you, gonna be my friend after you. Now I can understand the demands of that when it's somebody you have not slept with, because some people do have opposite sex best friends. Some have same sex best friends and they have an opposite sex best friend. How that happens, I don't know. What sex got to do with it, right? It doesn't matter that you're a man or you're a woman. We're just close. Emotionally, we're close friends. We've always been, and they've been there through thick and thin, through breakup after breakup, through marriage, through whatever, whatever. They my friend. They my friend for life. If you gone tomorrow, they gonna still be my friend. So what does it have to do with if they're a man or a woman, right? What you guys think about that? It's a lot of controversy in regards to that. And I believe that with effective communication and open honesty and understanding, and to make sure that that person knows of who you're with, have met who you're with. There's not a lot of, well, there's no disrespect at all. There's no excessive phone calls. There's no after midnight calls, close to midnight calls. There's no wanting to get together with you guys on a regular basis when you go out and you do this and you do that. Here they go, they want to tag along, and then they want to tag along and they don't have a man or they don't have a woman, and then it starts to look kind of suspect. Why do you always want to go with me and my boo? And well, we cool, we good friends, you my best friend, but you can't do everything with us. That's not cool. You may be, if we may invite you to a particular party where it's gonna be other people to mix and mingle with, because some people don't even want to, they don't want to have their friend join in with dating them and their partner unless they got somebody that they gonna bring. Whether it's somebody they just started dating, that they dating, or they married to, whatever. They want, we gonna do a double thing. That's how some operate. There's a lot of crazy stories that has been told with people allowing, and I'm not saying this happens with everyone, it's just something that can happen, allowing a good friend to be around you and your mate too much of the time, solo. Because you and your mate are going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And when you have the bad days, the last thing you want is some smiling friend of yours all up in your dude or your woman's face while you pissed off, not knowing how that's going to make them feel. They may get turned on by all that sunshine and you sprinkling darkness in the moment, okay? So it's not a place of, it's not coming from a place of insecurity. It's just coming from a place of using using your head and being smart, being wise, protecting the interests of yours. No, you can't assure that the person you with is going to go out here in this mean world and not ever cheat on you and do this and do that. You can only pray and hope that they're going to be faithful to you, you're going to be faithful to them, and we going to row this boat together. That's why I chose you, and that's why you chose me. It's because we felt trust and loyalty towards one another. And that's the only thing you can do. I had someone say to me once, you can never say never about what your man ain't gonna do or what your girl ain't gonna do. They just had this real ugly disposition about it. They say everybody cheat. Everybody cheat. For real. Somebody cheating right now, and they gonna go home and act like nothing happened, and they ain't gonna tell it. I don't believe that everybody cheats. I don't believe that everybody cheats. I believe that some do what they want to do, whether they're with somebody or not. And that's someone who is definitely not in love, who is definitely not committed to who they're with, and they still got this little girl, little boy mentality about how they want to do some things. That's just my take on it. And some just want their cake and eat it too. They want their stability at home, and then they want to feel like they being chased and wanted and needed out in the zone. It makes them feel like they still have it. They still got it. They got a spare tire. Let me keep a spare tire just in case. I love my wife or I love my husband, but just in case. And that's just crazy. Be single. Just be single. If you gotta have all this extra and all that, if you gotta hang on to 3, 4 female friends or 3, 4 male friends that you talk to every day, and man, you have more conversation with them than you do me. Okay, what's going on with that? So it's certain things you just start to question if it becomes overkill or done too much. But for somebody to have a friend of the opposite sex before they got with you and have been friends for them for years, and they have introduced me to that person, and that person respects me in every regard and all that, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with that. Now, y'all start hanging out or these late night calls or them want to go everywhere we go, I probably would start to question some things. But other than that, as long as it's respectful and the friendship is solid, who am I to demand that you tell somebody you've been connected with as a friend all these years that no, you gotta let them go. But the sticky part of this is if they have slept together, because the old saying is you can't miss what you never had. Can't miss what you never had. But if you didn't had it, and for some reason you ain't getting it right now, and it belongs to somebody else, and you miss it, and you probably ain't got it like that with nobody right now, or ain't gonna get what we don't know what your situation is, but you can miss what you had, but you can't miss what you never had. And what you had was the one I have now. So, Houston, we may have a problem. That's all I can say. So, those are just some things, you guys, I just wanted to kick off, shake off till you think about them. Think about your situation, your past situation, your situation now, situations to come. Think about intimacy, growing your intimacy and connection with your mate on all levels. Also, just being easy, being careful, you know, choose wisely, okay? Choose wisely. Make sure when you get into something that you're ready to get into it. Don't be trying to play ghost people. Don't be trying to, act as if this is just a waste of my time if I get involved in this way, but I just want to keep you in this way. Be mindful of the emotions and the heart of another. If it's something you can't deal with, that you don't want to deal with, that you just don't know how to deal with, you need to talk about it, and you need to step back if that's what you need to do. But most importantly, grown folks, you gotta love you. Love you before you love anybody else, and trust me, everything else will come into order. So on that note, have a lovely day. I got to go, y'all. I got to go. My time is up, and I will see you guys later this week. What's today? Thursday? Man, probably see you tomorrow. End of the week. I'll hit you. All right. Have a good one. Mwah.